Okay, so drawing the corner of the room. So this kind of builds on the one where you did your hand in foreshortened view. So in that video, I talked about how you can use your pencil to kind of measure the angle of something. You know, the angle at which your thumb comes out, and you can use that to kind of go to your drawing board. So you're going to use your pencil as your main tool today to measure the angles where the ceiling meets the wall, where the corners meet, where this cupboard comes out. So the easiest, most basic place to start with would be the actual corner that we're drawing, but you don't see a lot of it because there's a bookcase there. So I'm just going to draw a little vertical line that is that corner right there. So the next thing I'm going to draw, the next easiest thing would be where the ceiling meets and where it comes out in this direction. So in order for me to know what direction to draw that line, I'm going to close one of my eyes like this, and I'm going to hold my pencil and line it up with where that wall meets the ceiling. So I close one eye and I hold my pencil and I line it up to where the wall and the ceiling meet. And it's kind of weird. I'm measuring the side where the flag is. So I'm measuring this line right here. That's the angle I'm holding my pencil at. So it goes up and to the right. After I open my eye, I can better see that angle. It goes up and to the right. And what I need to do is then transfer that angle, that line, to my paper. And I double check a couple times to make sure I'm not moving my pencil too much as I'm coming down. And I'm sure I got that right angle. So the next thing I'm going to measure is where the wall comes out on the other side and it touches the ceiling. So I line my pencil up to that angle up here. I just see it at a different view. Now this one's tough because my pencil's kind of facing me. My drawing board's flat. I'm parallel to my drawing board, so this angle needs to be parallel to my drawing board. So if I have to hold it like this to see that angle, what I need to do is, while that one eye is closed, I'm going to turn that pencil to make it parallel to me and parallel to my drawing board, because that's the way I'm drawing it. So it's easier to line something up like with that wall, but then I need to turn that pencil back to be parallel with my face and then bring that angle down. So it's not the neatest drawing. You know, my lines are really messy. That's okay. We're not going for detail here. We're going for accuracy in line direction. The next thing I need to start with, the next easiest thing, I think is going to be the front corner of that case there. So I'm going to use my pencil one other way. I'm going to look at where the front corner of that case is compared to the corner of the wall. So the front corner of that case is to the right of the corner of the wall. I already have that line drawn. I need to draw a line that is to the right. It's not that far over. Something like this. So the front of that case is just a little bit to the side. Now I don't see the top of that case. So I know just from having some artistic thought that the bookcase, the corners of it, those lines are going down. But I'm going to use my pencil to measure that angle. And again, it's easier to kind of line it up with the direction that the bookcase is coming out from the wall, but I can't draw that way, so I need to turn that pencil. So I line it up at the top of the bookcase. With one eye closed, I turn that so it's parallel to me, and then I open my eyes. That's the angle at which that bookcase comes down. After you do this for a while, it'll get easier to line your pencil up with that line parallel to you instead of having to shift it. So I'm going to do the same on the left side of that bookcase. And then I'm going to use the corner of my room to see how far. Do I see more of the bookcase to the right or more of the bookcase to the left of that center line? So I see more of it to the left. So this line has to be about that long here before it comes down. then, let's see. Okay. So I've got my basic shapes now. I'm going to continue and get all of my basic shapes done. The next one is going to be the door frame. Before I worry about the door, if that poster, what is that called? Corkboard. If I can fit that in there, that'll be in there. If I can fit that one in there, that'll be in there. So here's the problem. Our left side of our brain knows that that door frame is a rectangle and that those corkboards are square. However, the way we see them in perspective, they get smaller as they go back in the distance, so they're not going to be square on our paper. So this is where the left side, right side of the brain thing comes in. We know from drawing boxes in studio art and two-point perspective, you start with the front corner of your shape, the sides go back to a vanishing point. If I did this accurately, there would be a vanishing point over here, and there would be a vanishing point over here that everything would line up to. And that's one of those tools we use in studio art. Now we're trusting our eye and our right side of the brain to do that work for us without those actual vanishing points on the side of our paper. So if it helps you just to figure out how to do this, you can think about it in two-point perspective. So these lines on the opposite side of the wall come down to a vanishing point here. These are coming down to a vanishing point here, the back walls. Objects inside go to that same vanishing point. So if you drew a room in two-point perspective in studio art, it's almost the same thing you're doing here. All right, so the corkboard I'm going to do next. That's easy. It's straight up and down. The top of it, ever so slightly up and to the right. The bottom I can't really see. Ever so slightly down. Hey, Caleb. I'll catch up with you in just a second. All right, same thing for that door. The door is about the same height as the bookcase. So I can draw a straight line down here. But the top of that door needs to be at an angle ever so slightly up and to the right. So speaking of two-point perspective in studio art, there's a horizon line, and that's where your eye line is. So everything across the middle, like this middle part of this bookcase here, that's about at my eye level where I'm sitting. So those lines are going to be horizontal, straight horizontal. They're not going to be going down or up. They're going to be straight across. The bottom, the next section here, is below my horizon line. So this line is going to be going up, and this line is going to be going up. So everything at your eye level or on the horizon line is going to be a straighter line compared to everything else. So I measured that. It's not perfectly straight. It's ever so slightly above my eye line. So these go just a little bit up, but they're definitely straighter. They're definitely straighter across than the top lines that have a harsher angle, a more pronounced angle. So the next break in my bookcase, I don't know exactly where it is, but it's a little lower than this bulletin board. So if I've drawn this bulletin board or corkboard correct, I can use that as kind of a guide. So I'm never really totally guessing where something goes. I'm using other cues to help me get things in the right spot. Now, if I were to see the bottom, that angle would be even more, turned even higher than the other two. Whoops. So at the start of my bookcase, the start of the door, the start of the bulletin boards. So the door, again, the left side of our brain knows that this door here is a rectangle. However, the way we're viewing it, it's not a rectangle. It's in forced perspective. It's kind of facing us. It's facing you a lot. So yours is going to be very different than a rectangle. It's probably going to be really short. The front of it's going to be taller, and it's going to be skinnier as it goes back in space. So the door actually overlaps the door jamb where I see it, and then there's a little bit of an opening here. I'm going to check that angle. I kind of guessed at it. going to do the same thing for the width of the door. That goes down and over. We get that. So once you have all of your basic shapes in the corner of your room and everything looks decent, then you can go back and start adding details. You're always using your pencil to measure angles. You're closing one eye to see those angles, and then opening one eye to see the angle in real space, and then you're opening your eyes to see the angle at which you're drawing that on your drawing board. Okay, questions?